Well, how's it finally feel to play a game this week?
Well, I think our guys are sick of hitting each other and sick of, it's time. It's about time. I think we've had a good fall camp, and I think we've progressed, and now it's time to kind of put it out there and see where we are. I think I don't know. We're not the finished product yet. Nobody is, but I think we've made significant progress, and now it's time to kind of, you know, get more game plan oriented against a group, against an opponent, and see where we are and see how our guys can execute and see how far we've come.
New offensive coordinator this year. How do you feel about where you're at with Coach Brist and the offense as a whole at this point?
I like our offense. I think we're very multiple in what we're doing. I think we have depth. I think we have weapons at every position. We I feel real good about where we are. You guys will hear from our starting quarterback Montgomery Van Gorder, and he's been with us since the spring, and he's had an excellent camp. And Nate's out this week, so his backup will be Joe Craycraft. And I like where we are. It's what I'm looking for is a high level of execution, and we've been doing that through camp. We've been pretty efficient in what we've been doing. Worked hard on some areas I think we needed to get better at. In particular the red zone, and I think our pass protection has been pretty good as we've got through camp. It's got better. We've stressed them a lot. Defensively. You're not game planning each other, so it gets a little bit harder for the offense to execute against blitzes and different things like that. Because they get the whole full defensive install against them every single day. But I think they've applied their roles well. I think our quarterbacks have handled it well. And like I said, now you can kind of zero in on an opponent and really kind of get into a game plan mode. And I think things slow down for your guys. Our philosophy a little bit is to stress them a lot during camp, so when they get to the game, it becomes a little bit easier. And we've thrown a lot at our offense defensively as far as the amount of defense they've seen. So, I think they'll get into the game. It'll be, they won't see as much. They won't see all that multiplicity, and give our guys a chance to, to play well, play fast, and play confidently.
Is this the most depth you've had over your 4 years here?
Well, I think our depth is pretty good across the board. We obviously got hit a little bit at a couple spots with some injuries, but it happened early enough that I think that we were able to make some adjustments and plan for, you make our adjustments and go. You don't want to lose anybody, but we did. We lost. We had some non-contact injuries. I mean, but you make your adjustments, and it gives guys an opportunity to step up and to shine. And I think so far I feel real good about where we are.
Your defense has seen a lot of change through the defensive line, and in camp you had to change your secondary a lot. How's that whole group ready for the game?
Pretty good. I mean, real good. I think that we're ready. I mean, I think that especially the starters, some of the backups, there's still some learning, some growing. But once again, our offense has thrown a lot at us defensively, and we've had now we'll tailor our game plan a little bit to, obviously you're in the first game, you don't know exactly what you're going to see, but you have an idea of who they are, so it becomes a little bit simpler as far as we won't throw the whole playbook at them, and we'll be a little bit more zeroed in on what we're going to do defensively against a particular offense that we're game planning against. So I think it helps those guys that are still learning and still growing to okay, this is what we're dealing with. Where against our offense, it's not always the case. They're all over the place. So as far as formations and plays and all the install that our defense has seen, and that becomes difficult for young guys. So it'll be fun to watch our guys go out and play. I'm just anxious to see our guys play, and it gives us a starting point.
Montgomery is a guy that's new to the Penguins program, new Penguins fan. So what do you like about him? How would you describe him? For Penguins fans, what to expect from a guy like that?
I think he's confident. He's a leader. He's decisive in what he does, and he can do everything you ask a quarterback to do. I mean, he's like any quarterback. I don't expect anybody to go out in any position and play perfect, but he'll go out and he's going to go out and do his job. I know that, and he's going to lead the group. That our kids respond to him, and I think he's going to play really well. Will you play perfect? You show me anybody that's ever played this sport and has played a perfect game. It's not going to happen. But he's going to play really well. There's no question in my mind.
Is it difficult for a kid to come into a program new and take command, or was that something?
I think it is. You got to have a certain personality. And when I first met Montgomery, I knew a little bit about him from my son, the type of kid he was and the type of a human being he was. He's been around the sport his whole life. His dad was a coach, and he won at a high level in high school. He played at a high level, was in some high pressure, was a holder at Notre Dame, was around a high level of football for the last 4 years, and he understands what it takes, and came in here with no promises, and came in and competed and fit in and did a heck of a job.
You hope to get somebody, and so you hope to get Joe in there a little bit too to get some game time.
Well, you hope so, but you don't know how the game's going to go and what's going to happen, and I'm not going into the game saying I'm going to say I'm going to rotate quarterbacks. That's not what we're going to do this week, and it's. Let's go do what we have to do to win the football game. And if it ever plays out that there's an opportunity to get Joe some snaps, we'll look at that, when the time comes.
Obviously, when you're coaching at the collegiate level, there's a lot of turnover on a year-to-year basis. But the team looks a lot different in a lot of areas, not just from players, but coordinators and whatnot. What have you seen from this team that what's their chemistry like? What's their overall coming togetherness? What do you like about it?
Love the character of this team. I love the work ethic, the kind of the business approach that they take. We don't have a bunch of guys on our team when I go over the practice schedule wondering how long practice is going to be or how many periods we're going to have or anything else. They just go out and work, and that gives you a chance. I mean, that's a real attitude. We have, even though we've lost some coordinators, obviously with me being a defensive guy and having hands on the defense, it's been that's a seemingly pretty easy transition. Sean Baker fit in there as a linebacker coach, and he volunteered for us last year, and he's a sharp guy who's going to be a star in this business. And and the rest of our defensive staff is in place, and then Brian Christ was on the staff, and he's the offensive coordinator now, and he's done a heck of a job. I like our offense. I like the moves I made, as far as Joe Gann's moving over to quarterbacks, and Brian's been able to be a walk-around coordinator and moving Timmy Marlowe with his, he's been on the defensive side the last couple of years, and now he's coaching the wideouts. He brings another perspective to the room, and I like our staff a lot. It's a young staff, but they have energy. They're smart guys. They're really good workers, and they communicate with players well. And I think there's a good relationship between the players and coaches in this program. It's not like the coaches are up here and the players are down here. It's a pretty laid back atmosphere. It's an atmosphere where I would hope that our players feel good about walking in the door every day. We have fun, but when it's time to work, we work, and that's a good thing. I think there's a good. We're not. You never get to exactly where you want to be culture-wise as a head football coach, but I think we're pretty close, and we're a lot closer than we have been, and I think that leads to consistency and really gives you a chance.
On the defensive side, having moved Teray from middle linebacker to safety, I know you're excited about him. What are the challenges that come along with positions like that, and what has made you so excited about Teray?
Well, Teray can play. I mean, he's, I said when he was playing really well at linebacker, and we're pretty good at linebacker. And I said, I said, at first when I first told the coaches, I said, I think I'm going to move Trey back to safety. They kind of looked at me like I was nuts, but I've been around him for a couple years now. He's smart. He's instinctive. He's a football player. He's very athletic. I know he's going to be physical and tackle. And I think in the first scrimmage, I think he had 2 interceptions. He has a knack, and he's a good player, and he understands it. And he learned linebacker real well, and probably playing safety is similar as far as you understand. Probably even a little bit simpler than playing up there at linebacker. You have a chance to move back, and things don't happen quite as fast. And so I think that it's almost a little bit easier for him to move back there. And I know athletically he can do all that. And then we have Crispin Lee and Avery Larkin will be the starter at the field at the strong safety. And he played a lot of nickel, but he's played some safety for us, and he's a good player. And so we have a lot of options and a lot of versatility back there. And I think I like the football team going in. In a D line, we're pretty deep. We have a lot of options there, and we have a chance to be a good defense. We're not there yet, but I think that the potential of this group is pretty high.
You mentioned that Butler runs a lot of multiple sets, and they're being a lot of formations and a lot of speed sweeps, motions. What's the most important thing as a defense when you're dealing with a lot of that speed motion?
Well, we need to work it well during the week and communicate, and everybody got to handle their responsibilities and understand what's going on and how we're going to fit things. And our like I said, our philosophy defensively is going to be we will stress them during the week. We will put them in tough situations and hard calls and make them have to adjust and communicate and learn as the week goes on. There'll be some things that are a little bit different today. We won't, in the groups I've been around, they usually the players get a wake-up call on Tuesday because it's not going to be easy today. And then as the week goes on, I think they're going to learn, they're going to understand, and it's going to be easier as the week goes on.
So I know, in the past we've asked you about it, but with everything you said with this team being special, and I know you're trying to work on getting some people there, just how important is it, for those people and the fans?
Well, it's going to be hard to get this program to where we want it to be unless we get consistent support from the community and start getting those stands filled up. It's just hard. It's hard to recruit. It's harder to recruit. And for the most part, we've had really good support. We get great support, from a solid base. But we need to get the people we got to get other people involved and just really be more consistent, especially as we get later in the year. But it's our job as a team. It's my job as a head football coach to give them a reason to want to come out. And for the most part, it's been pretty good. And but I hope we can get it to another level. Another thing that I've talked about is, we have those great loges up there, and I know people enjoy their loges and they pay money to be in their loges. But I'd love to see those people coming out where we can feel their presence, where they come out of those loges and where we can hear them. They're out in the stands, and you can go back and forth, but our players need to. Our players bust their butt year round. And it's not about me. It's never been about me. It's not about our coaches. It's about the kids. And when you put in the type of time, dedication, and year round, and the amount of effort they put in trying to do something special for this university and this community, they deserve the support. And I hope that, and I hope to see it more and more and very consistently as we go through the year. And we don't take a back seat. When people walk in, people can talk about what goes on at the BCS level or whatever else. When you walk in, you're seeing really good football. When you walk into this stadium, it is Division I football that I will take our football team and line up against anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I'll put our coaching staff up against any coaches in the country, and I'll put our players. We'll go out and we'll compete against anybody. And I think people need to understand that we're not we need to. You walk in our stadium, you're going to watch high level football, and both us and our opponents. We play a good schedule. Everybody knows that. It's pretty widely known, and it's you're going to see a heck of a football game more often than not when you walk into the stadium.
What else can you tell us about Butler? I know that offensively, the line only gave up like 7 sacks last year. They got a couple of those guys back. What have you seen from them offensively?
Throw the ball quick. They're very multiple in what they do. Like a lot of speed sweeps, a lot of moving parts in their offense. So we're going to have to be ready to adjust. A fairly quick rhythm passing game where the ball gets in and out of the quarterback's hand. And I wasn't aware. I didn't really look at their stats from last year, but I don't. That's the last thing I usually pay attention to is statistics. But they're very capable offensively and defensively. Defensively, they line up in a 4-3. They're basically a 4-3. Kind of a cover 4 type defense, and they're sound in what they do. They play hard, and I think their program's on the way up. I think they've made a significant progress over the last couple of years, and I think their coaching staff's doing a nice job of recruiting, and I think they're getting better.
You said you're not really a statistics guy. What do you look at a football team when you're trying to evaluate?
The film. Film tells us the film doesn't lie, and I don't get caught up in our numbers, so I'm really not going to get caught up in the opponent's numbers. I can usually decipher what we need to do by watching the film. And, I've been around coaches that the first thing they do is they pull out the stat sheets, but I pull out the film.
But it's last year's film.
Huh?
It's last year's film, though, too, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can learn who people are. It's last year's statistics too, Dana.
I mean, can't numbers tell you tendencies and what?
Oh yeah, believe me, I dive into tendencies, but that's for later in the week. Like I said, believe me, I'm all about those types of things. When it comes to statistics, but I'm not caught up into how many sacks or how many yards rushing or I can see that from the film, and it's I'll look and see maybe who their go-to receivers are and stuff. Well, once again, most of that stuff I can get off the film, and sometimes so I've always believed statistics lie a lot of the time because you get into a game late in the game, it's garbage time or whatever else, and if you're once a game's over, I'm on to the next game and then the next thing, because from there on out, all those statistics, all those things, numbers that come up after a certain point of a game, they don't really mean anything. Now, if it's a game that goes start to finish, yeah, but I'm about what I see. I've been doing this for a long time, so I have a pretty good handle on how to prepare.